My name is Tim Kundra. I'm currently a senior here at Penn State studying psychology. So I come from a family that has many, many dogs. I think at any time in my house we have between, I would say, 10 to 20 dogs. When I was 14 or 15, my mom decided that it would be a good idea if I had one of the dogs as my own responsibility. And so it was just a really neat opportunity overall to kind of raise a little puppy and kind of still have him now, which is awesome. We have almost all border collies. We have a couple of collies and also some outside guardian protection dogs as well. Border collies are very, very intelligent and very, very active. So around people, it can vary dramatically, kind of depending on how they were raised. So if they were raised well, these dogs are going to be very friendly, very affectionate, very loyal. But at the same time, you have to really manage all of that energy and manage that drive. And if you don't do that correctly, then you kind of put yourself in a really tough situation where you have this energetic dog that doesn't really have any output. I trained for competition in frisbee or disc dog. So one of the competitions is freestyle. The other one is, I think, called fetch and return or something along those lines, where essentially the dog has about 2 minutes with one disc to catch as many for a certain amount of distance. So the further the dog catches it out from you, the more points he gets. So the goal is to kind of get like these nice middle ground length throws that are about 30 to 40 yards and try to rack up as many of those as possible in the minute. The other one is spot catch, where there are different hoops and there's different points for every time the dog catches it within one of those hoops. The first competition I went to, I was really, really nervous. Like, these things aren't that crazy competitive at the regional level. Once you get to the national level, it's pretty crazy. But I was super nervous. There's a fair amount of people. There's probably 100 people in the crowd, which is not what you expect. And again, like, you're 15, you've never done this before, you have a dog, you're kind of confused about what's going on. And we went out there in the B class, which was cool, which is exactly where you start out. And I thought he did pretty well. He made most of the catches I wanted him to make. He did a lot of the tricks I wanted him to do. Most of the errors were on my part, where I was just nervous and not throwing it correctly. And it ended up that he won the freestyle competition there, which was crazy, and we only competed in 3 out of the 5 other competitions, but even with those 3, we still managed to place second overall, which was just neat that we didn't even need 2 other competitions to rack up enough points to get that high. One of the other things that I kind of learned along the way is that while Conway, my dog, loves frisbee, it's really important to have multiple outlets for these dogs, because they can either get bored or really just not as engaged with it over time. So one of the things I've always done is took him hiking a lot. I live in rural-ish New Jersey, so there's a lot of places to go, and it's always been great. You kind of go out in the snow, you go out in the rain or shine, because these dogs need exercise every day. It's just one of those things that I just think teaches you a valuable lesson, and in the end you really learn to appreciate.